You are here because you want to know whether you should summon on the new Ultra Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta, the first tag Ultra unit in Dragon Ball Legends. I'm going to give you everything you need to know in this video, so some things you should consider before summoning, which isn't going to be much in this case because they are the finale of the celebration, though there is an after party where we'll most likely get one legend unit. But also we'll go into the kits. I will then also tell you whether I think it's worth it for you guys to summon, and then I will tell you guys whether I'm summoning and what I'm going to be doing, as I know a lot of you guys base what you're doing on what I'm doing. So let's get into this video. So here are some things you should consider before you do anything with your chrono crystals. The first thing, you need to consider your chrono crystals. Seriously, it might not be worth it to just get one copy of this unit, as they still might not be to your liking. Though if you are summoning just because you want the unit, that means you are a collector, so everything I say in this video is irrelevant anyways, because you're most likely going to summon based on how they look. So I appreciate you guys for watching the video, even though you don't need this information because you're going for one copy regardless. In that being the case, I also advise you guys to not summon straight away. The banner release date releases tomorrow, so that's going to be the 8th of July, and the banner will end on the 2nd of August, which means you have just under a month to decide whether you want to summon on this unit. In that time, or at least in the first week, 2 to 3 days at least, I always advise you spend that time watching showcases from big and small content creators, because somebody is going to summon, somebody is going to post a video on YouTube of how they look on their account and give their opinion. Somebody's going to take the fall for you, because if the unit is not up to par, you don't want to summon, get the unit and be disappointed. And I advise you watch big and small content creators. For one, multiple people having a showcase means that they're doing it on different accounts, different units, different equipments, etc., star levels too. So you want to get a widespread opinion so that you can form your own opinion before you summon, so that when you do summon, you are actually content and not just bamboozled by one content creator because they built them a certain way. You might not be able to imitate that exact team. And then on top of all of that, the meta will dictate the value of the unit at the end of the day. Contrary to your beliefs, content creators do not have the final say on a unit that is being used in PvP. In most cases, it will just be the case that content creators have the same opinions as PvP actual player bases. So in this case, within 2 to 3 days, even if a content creator on day 1 said it's really good, on the 3rd day, the player base will know if this unit is good or not, and if the unit isn't good, you will slowly see them phase out, which is a shame, but it is what happens consistently. I know this because I've been playing for years. Number 3, I advise you consider the near future. In this case, it's pretty much void. This is the finale of the anniversary, meaning that there's not going to be any other units of grand scale after this. There is an after party like I mentioned earlier, so there will very likely be one legend unit release, but besides from that, are you going to consider the ultra finale part 3 lesser than the after party? I don't think that's the case. So at this point, if you like this unit, I advise you just go for this unit, or consider something else that released already in the celebration, the part 1 units or the part 2 units. The festival is very far away. It's at the end of the year in November, so don't even bother saving for that. And finally, my judgment isn't final. I give this advice prior to the unit releasing, meaning that I do not have the in-game stats. However, I am a long time player of this game. I've played this game for the whole 8 years. I'm a 56-time God rank player. I don't go for God rank anymore because I just don't think it's worth the time, but I play PvP consistently on stream. My point being, I've seen how the developers have released units over the years, and in most cases, they don't just butcher units. They have before, which is why I say my judgment isn't final, so it's possible that I could get it wrong, but it's just not very likely based on my track record. Not to toot my own horn, but you guys are here for a reason, and I'm trying my best to help you guys based on all I know. I also can't tell you the longevity of a unit because I don't know what they're going to release after. So if this unit releases and they're great, they might be trash next week based on something else that releases, which would be absolutely unfortunate, but it does happen in a lot of cases. But that's everything regarding what you should be considering before summoning. Let's get into the kit now. So we've got the kit here, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta abilities. Let's see what they can do. So we're starting off with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Here's who you start with. Their element blue. Here are the tags: Son Family, Vegeta Clan, Saiyan, Otherworld Warrior, Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 tag, or the saga rather, Majin Buu saga. Z abilities, so you can see here strike attack and blast defense, and the tags Majin Buu saga Z or Saiyan, there's nothing else. But here you can see it goes up to 38% at Z ability 3, and you get special move damage if additional Majin Buu saga there. It goes 3%, then it goes to 5, and 42% here. Cool. The Ultra ability is based on Saiyans, but if you want the full Ultra ability, you can also just put them on leader slot and you'll get the full 30%. The Strike Arts, you get health every time you press one, and it has blast armor. The Blast Arts, you get health every time you press one, no extra abilities there. The blue card, massive damage, you do special move damage 40%, which cannot be cancelled, cancel enemy attribute upgrades and buff effects, and on hit you'll get one Dragon Ball which can activate 2 times, and activation shared between Goku and Vegeta. So whether you do it on Goku or Vegeta, it will only happen 2 times overall between the unit. The enemy key here -50 when you do hit it, and then you can see it's a forward moving type and it has blast armor, which is nice of course. The green card here, it's a grab. It restores vanish the first time and the second time onwards, but it's lesser the second time onwards. So on the activation you get HP, key, and draw a card, but then depending on your usage, like I just mentioned, you're going to get vanish gauge 100% the first time, but it's 50% every time onwards. On hit, nullify special cover changes 5 counts, all enemy sub counts on switch +3 for 15 counts, and you can combo this into every single card except the ult, but they don't have an ult, so that's not going to be relevant. Strikes, blast, green, blue. It's got blast armor, and I already said it's a forward moving type. Going into the main ability, they don't have an ult or anything like that. They will be tag switching, the first ultra tag switch unit. You tag switch to Vegeta and they just stay blue, there's no reversal. Draw 1 card if hand has 3 or fewer, key +20, cancel view attribute downgrades, abnormal conditions. Also, when unique gauge is full, enter Super Spirit Bomb preparation mode first stage, switch to sustained damage type. So to give you emphasis later, which we're going to read, they have 2 types of gauges. They have a attack type gauge, assault gauge I think it's called, and then they switch it to a sustained type gauge once you actually go into the preparation mode, but I'll elaborate on that later. So we have the starter ability here. You can see the damage is 360%, the damage guard 330, key recovery 100%, draw speed +1, and nullify abnormal conditions for 60 timer counts. Now if we compare this to Gogeta and Trunks and Gohan, because Gogeta is an ultra and Trunks and Gohan are like the best unit in the game right now. So here we have Trunks and Gohan. If I scroll down and show you where their damage numbers are, you can see the starter ability, damage 360 and damage guard 310. So you can see the damage is the same, but the damage guard has shot up quite a bit, 20% from the seams of it. And if we compare to Ultra Gogeta Blue, the part 1 unit, we scroll down to the starter ability, is 360 for damage, and the damage guard is the same. So the damage is the same, but the damage guard goes up for the new Buu duo Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, which is very apparent. We're going into the unique ability now for the Buu duo. It says here, before entering Super Spirit Bomb preparation mode or after Super Spirit Bomb activation, destroy the enemy's hand after taking an attack if health is 50% or lower. Here it says on enemy character confrontation, so when you face someone, draw 1 card if hand has 3 or fewer. This can only happen 1 time. Activations will reset on switch though. You also get health 10%, key +30, nullify damage received from element disadvantages, so the damage you take will be type neutral. Now you might have saw there's no cover null. Well, there is cover null, it's just not from the confrontation. When you press a card, you'll be getting cover null 1 time for 5 timer counts, activation reset on switch, but there's also damage stacking, which is very effective. Now if we compare to other units, I believe Gogeta does 20% for every strike and blast, and I also think Trunks and Gohan do 20% for every strike and blast, maybe 25%. So this 30% is actually a kick up from what we had before, which is obviously good for this unit. After arts use, if hand has 1 card or fewer, activations reset on switch by the way, draw 1 card, nullify element disadvantage, so you'll go type neutral completely if you have 1 card or fewer, because that's what's written here, and you draw 1 card. It's just something to bear in mind that if you're not going type neutral, it's because you have multiple cards. Just bear that in mind. When hit by enemy arts, enemy key -5, or enemy arts cost +15% for 5 timer counts, activations reset on switch, so that's some disrupt there to break combos from the enemy. Here also, before entering preparation mode or Super Spirit Bomb activation, if health is 50% or lower, and it says 1 time here, activation shared between Goku and Vegeta, so it's between both units even though it's 1 unit overall. Activations reset after Super Spirit Bomb activation. You're gonna get HP 30%, unique gauge +50%, and destroy entire enemy hand. Here at the bottom, it's pretty much just buff cancellation, so for any blue card, Ultimate Awakened Arts and Rising Rush, you're gonna cancel enemy buff effects, and this can happen 3 times. It's shared between both, but you also get -5 to sub counts because this unit doesn't have survivability on Goku's side. They have revival on Vegeta's side, but I'll get to that later. And you also get HP from that, which is nice. Goku has a blast cover change, and he can combo it into a blue. And here we have the gauges. So we have the attack type to sustain type damage type gauge that they have in their kit. So as you can see here, attack type, when unique gauge becomes full and you fill it from pressing cards, which is written here, slightly each time a strike, blast, or special arts is used. Draw up to 2 cards if hand has 3 or fewer. HP +20%, key +50%, 50%, plus 50, switch gauge plus 100%, activation shared between Goku and Vegeta. Note, nullify special cover changes as well, so you get cover null from filling the gauge, which is obviously useful. Now on the sustained damage type, right, you see here when unique gauge becomes full, health plus 25%, ally sub counts -3, destroy 3 enemy cards, enemy vanishing gauge minus 100%, which can activate 2 times, seal enemy rising rush 5 counts. And it says here to fill it, you need to be taking hits. Now the sustained damage gauge will be something that you see on Vegeta's side, but the attack type, you can have it on Goku's and Vegeta's side, but it's dependent on whether the gauge is full or not. So you can tag switch, I believe, even if the gauge is not full to Vegeta, but when you tag switch and the gauge is full, what it will mean is you will simply start the prep time mode and then you'll switch to sustained damage type, which we're going to get to. Attack type consumed entirely when entering preparation mode, and if I scroll back up to this part here where the main ability is supposed to be, also when unique gauge is full and you press the switch ability, enter Super Spirit Bomb preparation mode first stage and switch to sustained damage type. So I hope that is clear in your head of how it's going to operate. The sustained damage type consumed entirely when unique gauge is full. So here we're going into Vegeta's side now, and Vegeta's side for the most part it's not different. There obviously is going to be different animations, but for the most part it's not different. The strike is the same, the blast is the same, the blue card is the same, it's forward moving, the green card is the same, the switch ability is the same, but it's conditional based on what you're going to be doing. Just note that, because you're going to have to go into the prep mode when your attack type gauge fills. The unique abilities are for the most part the same as well, since they're shared between both sides, and then this part at the end is different. So while in preparation mode and health is reduced to 0 by enemy attack, because you can die on Vegeta's side, you will revive and tag switch to Goku. Now the con of this happening is you can't do the Spirit Bomb anymore because you don't have Vegeta to build up the time so that Goku can prep it behind the scenes. But if Goku dies, you will not revive, so be very wary of that. You heal with 70% health when you go back to Goku and you switch to attack type, and unique gauge charge rate will be 100%. Vegeta has a strike cover change, and back to the unique gauge, this part is going to be all the same as they're shared between both sides. This part here, sustained damage type when it's full, you can see gauge becomes full, health 25%, ally sub counts -3, destroy 3 cards, enemy vanish gauge minus 100%, so breaking the combo when you actually feel it, and seal enemy rising rush, which is also good of course, so that they can't do big attacks against your Vegeta. And here it's just the same things about how they feel and whatnot. The last bit I need to fill you in on is the active gauge. So the active gauge over here, with 100% active gauge on tap, enter Super Spirit Bomb preparation mode second stage, ally damage plus 50%. Everybody's getting an increase in support here. Second stage, when active gauge reaches 0%, activate Super Spirit Bomb, tag switch to Goku, switch to attack type, health plus 50%, damage 100%, which is uncancelable for 2 timer counts, unique gauge charge rate 100%, uncancelable, and nullify KO prevention. Now I need to go back to the top so you can see this with your own eyes. The nullify KO prevention effects nullify indestructible, revive, and more. So that includes KO guard, endurance, basically any second life mechanic. That Spirit Bomb will stop it completely. Also, if enemy is powerful opponent, he will go type neutral. So it's really nice that this unit is blue, because powerful opponent that's relevant right now is Broly, and he's green, so he will go type neutral to make sure Broly still gets nuked the same way. On hit, deal transcendent damage to enemy. Transcendent is something we haven't seen before. Before it was only supreme. Deal half of the damage to the enemy standby members. If you're nuking a red, yo, it is over for the team. First stage charges while not defeated. Second stage decreases when on battlefield. Active gauge disappears when Super Spirit Bomb activated upon revival. And then this is just the conditions of how it can be activated. So move to high area when entering preparation mode in low area. It's going to just be some conditions for how it's going to be played out. Switch ability will become unusable until the end of the battle after entering preparation mode. Character cannot be sealed while in preparation mode. If character receives an attack that would cause it to be defeated while in preparation mode, active gauge will disappear. Preparation mode will be cancelled upon revival. This attack cannot be evaded with vanishing step and cannot be cover changed against. On attack, cancelled all abnormal conditions that restrict this character's movement. And that's all the conditions that will take place when this is in action. But that's everything regarding the kit. It's very mechanical and you're gonna have to play quite methodically to make this of use to you, but they are also on the top class of the game in terms of damage output and defenses, which is obviously good. Now you want to know whether I think that you guys should summon for this unit. In general, I want to say that I think this unit is good, but I cannot guarantee them being great, and from the seams of their abilities and the way they work in PvP, I'm very concerned for their longevity. There's one key thing that stands out to me, and it's the transcendent damage in their Spirit Bomb. If that damage is truly transcendent, then I do see them lasting a long time because it's transcendent. Nobody in the game has that. But I don't know what the gap between supreme impact damage and transcendent damage is gonna do when it comes to that Spirit Bomb. Because imagine nuking a red unit with that transcendent damage and everybody else on the team takes half of that damage on the enemy team. That's gonna be crazy. And then on top of that, this unit also supports the team after that. Everybody gets 50% up. So I think the unit is good, but I guarantee great, I'm concerned, especially with the lack of survivability. But we have seen with Trunks and Gohan, you don't need survivability to be great if you got other allies that can do that for you, because at the end of the day, this is a 3v3 game. They do have revival on Vegeta's side though, but then you miss out on the thing that's making them core, you know, the Spirit Bomb. But naturally they are doing damage as they have the damage stacking aspect, so I still think they are looking pretty good. So in general, I would advise that you guys, if you like this unit, like just visually, and you do want to summon for them, but you're now considering the kit, I would say wait 24 hours to see what people are doing. I already advised for that earlier, but with certain units, if they're actually just that fascinating off rip in terms of ability and everything like that, I would tell you guys you can summon for this for sure. But I'd say give it 24 hours, because in game, if they have worse stats, even though it did look like the damage guard is up and the damage is up, if the stats are not keeping up considering they are ultra, I don't think it's ridiculous for that to be possible. But do I think it's likely? No. But at the same time, we don't know. So I think giving it 24 hours to make your decision is the safest bet. I can't say this is a guaranteed great banger unit that's going to take over PvP. From the seams of it, Trunks and Gohan, who consistently can take out endurance, might be more valuable, where this is just one Spirit Bomb, you know. So beyond that, they're just going to be doing regular blue card damage and strikes and blast armor, you know. That's all I've pretty much got to say about them. I can't say they're great off rip. I can say they're definitely good though. So just don't summon straight away if you are concerned. I think that's the best way to approach this unit for the finale of the celebration. Even though there isn't anything else, you might want to go back in on the part 2 or the part 1, which is why I don't think deciding instantaneously is the best choice for any of you guys. But hopefully that makes sense. Now, the final segment of this video is ZAKASHI Summoning on Ultra Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. I am going to be summoning. I like how this unit looks. Visually, it's a movie. I don't care about their kit. I do think their kit is good, but I'm not summoning based on their kit. I want the unit as a collector's item. Literally the Buu Saga. If you guys know me, I'm not the biggest Vegeta fan. I haven't been. Growing up, I was never really a Vegeta fan. I think he's very hard-headed. He doesn't have anything fascinating besides from the fact that he's a hype man and he has a lot of grit and courage. But that courage always ends very nil and void. But after reading the Dragon Ball Super manga and they give him actual development, I've come to respect this guy a lot, and then I've gone to revisit the Buu Saga in cases, and his final stand where he really wants to stand up for that minute, if he can't survive that minute, he's worthless. That's how he sees himself. He really is the MVP right there, and I think for that, you know, I've come to like him a lot more. For this, Vegeta on this character, if it was just Goku, I might not summon. I'm not even joking. But Vegeta on this character means a lot to me. I really respect Vegeta for that moment, because it's one of those moments where he's not selfish. He's not trying to do it for his own gain and glory. He's really just trying to redeem himself, and we don't get a lot of that in detail in Dragon Ball Super until we get to the Moro arc and the manga beyond, which is why this is a unit that I do care for. But in other cases, I'm not that interested in Vegeta, and for a Buu Saga Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I might not die for it, but I do want one copy because this is an actual movie. Even Hercule in the animation, I'm there, man. But yeah, over explained there, but that's just kind of a backstory for why I'm interested in this unit. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully this video was very helpful and it puts you on the right track to making the decision for yourself. I can't get to every single comment straight away. As you imagine, I'm putting out content, people are requesting me to do stuff, and at the same time I'm trying to enjoy the celebration myself. So this video should put you on track with the information I've given. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is ZAKASHI, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one, man.